And we talked about that there's possibly an epidemic at the quarterback position. And I said, hey, I'm going to go do a little research and figure out when the best era of quarterback was. Now, I
Hmm.
ran into a little bit some issues. Obviously, the main issue being the difference in the eras, the rule changes that came in the 2010s,
Hmm.
and passing yards and touchdowns and the stats in general are just kind of slanted and a little awkward to try to kind of parse through some of that stuff. But they're close enough. Some of that stuff you can kind of look at and tell the difference. But ultimately, before I get into some of this, I believe that right now we are in a worse position than we possibly have ever been when it comes to quality starting quarterbacks. And I think this is the worst crop in totality, not at the top, not the best of the best being better than the best of their best, but from 1 to 32. I think we are in the worst era since the early 90s when it was just Montana, Marino, Elway, and Favre, and there was basically nobody else. I think we're in that era right now, and I'll go
I
through
think
some of this stuff, and I'll just show you some of the
I
stats and shit. But go ahead
you
while I
know
pull this up.
I don't think it's a from a playing standpoint because I think a lot we have a lot of more talent in these areas, but I think it's more of a maturity standpoint with the quarterbacks now because I feel like the quarterbacks back in the day were more mature coming into the league and taking over a franchise and things like that, rather than quarterbacks now is like Johnny Manziel and Baker and Jamarcus Russells and things like that. Nobody who really came in like it's more they do more upside on talent than they do on maturity and things like that. That's why we so high on CJ Stroud who or Bryce Young. They talked about how mature they was and things like that. And so Pat Mahomes, how they carry
Yeah.
themselves and come in and run an organization.
Now let
So
me let me show you this list real quick. All right. Now I see what you're saying. Now that's a big point of some of the stuff that I was looking through here. Now here, right, what we looking at right now on here
mhm.
is a list, and I set the parameters to since 1983
Mhm.
quarterbacks that are at least in a fifth year started at least 8 games and had a passing yards per game of 260, which I think puts you at somewhere around like close to 42,000, something like that, or 4,200.
Put 200, yeah.
Let me make sure my math is correct because I want to really make sure to drive some of these points home to kind of show what I'm saying here. So 260 a game, and back in the day, all the way up until the last 2 years would get you 4160 passing yards. So something we would say, that you had a great year,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now, if you look here, there's an obvious problem when you look at the top of the list. The top of the list is
Right.
2023.
It's falling off.
We got 4 guys right now that are at least in the fifth year or older and throwing for 4,000 yards a game.
Okay. So how many how much does this have to account for it? I've never seen and we 30 now, so we've seen a
Mm-hmm.
lot of, football, I guess, different eras. We've seen the era switch and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
If other than if your team was real just bad, we never really seen coordinators and coaches switch this much in the NFL. Like even if your team is good, they'll drop your coordinator if your coordinator ain't doing what he needs to do, like
I,
with your
I do
quarterback.
have a deeper theory if you want to get straight to the deeper theory.
Okay.
The deeper theory here for me is that I think around 2009, and you can see it here. In 2009, they changed the defenseless receiver rule. So that's when you couldn't no helmet to helmet. You couldn't
Right.
hit guys that were like turned around, whatever. You know what the
Yeah.
defenseless rule
You go up
contact
for
rules
a
or whatever.
ball and
Yeah, you
they
can't
hit
hit
you and
guys
all
like
that. Yeah.
midair, all that stuff. And if you look here, there's an obvious, like a clear jump. 1995, we have five guys. And then and then 2000, there was something else with 2003 where they changed the illegal contact rules or something like that. Because it was 2003 was the lowest passing yards like of all time. So they changed a couple rules around, and you can see a jump there. It goes from just Peyton Manning to now we got three, and then two, and then five, and two. But in 2009, it's a clear
Yeah. It's
jump
just
to nine
everybody up
guys. And
there.
then look at the names: Brady, Breeze, Favre, Manning, Phillip Rivers, Aaron Rodgers, Ben Roethlisberger, Tony Romo, Matt Schaub threw for fucking 5,000 yards that one
Yeah,
year.
man, shot went crazy that year.
But I think what happened was the deep theory is I think what happened was the guys that played earlier learned how to they developed their skills in an era where their receivers could be hit, maimed, their heads taken off. And when you took the
Yeah,
physicality out
it
of
was
the
still easy for him.
secondary, it became so easy for these guys that are 4 and 5 and 6, 7, 8, 10 year veterans that they just dominated. And I think that's why a lot of them had these long careers. And if you look, the list just grows and grows. And I think a lot of that is because the game was so easy for them because they learned in a different time where things were harder. It was just legitimately harder to have a great passing game. But the other side of that too, why I think we are in an epidemic is because we don't have guys that have grown into being these top quarterbacks. In 2009, Tom Brady had been in the league for 8 years. Peyton Manning had been in the league for 10 years. Philip Rivers had been in the
But
league 5, 6 years.
Tom Brady was drafted in the '90s though.
No, Tom Brady was drafted in 2001. That's the crazy part. But that's
Look,
what I
I
mean.
thought
If
it
you
was
look
like
at this,
'99.
all of these are guys that had been in the league for at least 5 years. So we talking about nine players in 2009. That's a third of the league. You know what I mean? Like 10 is a third of the league. You get up to and don't I honestly think the best era of quarterbacks, hands down, looking through all these stats over, and I have more lists and stuff we can go through. But from 2013 to 2018 is the best crop of quarterbacks that there's ever been. And the Mahomes era is
The beginning of his era, right?
yeah, right when Pat comes in and wins the MVP and does all that, that's the beginning of the
He
drop
kicks
off.
all the old people out. Because
Literally
you know what I said? Because
begins
everybody sees him and they like, okay, we got to do something different.
Pat
Like,
Pat coming in and doing that in 2018 created the wave of
yeah,
people moving towards, hey, we can get a guy in here and in a year or two, he should be the guy.
and
And
that's
really,
why
it's
everything is
wrong.
going down.
And that's why we are in an epidemic of quarterbacks. That's why we have a lack of veteran quarterbacks that are solid to good. Because if you're not great or very good, you're out of here. They getting you out
Yeah,
of here.
you
They
know,
bringing a young guy in,
because
and we starting over every two,
e-
3 years.
every 2 3 years, and it's because there's no way Jimmy G should be the veteran on your team coaching a
Exactly.
rookie. Like it's just like there's no way
Exactly.
Jimmy. I would like we had rookies sit coming in learning under like Aaron Rodgers under Brett Favre,
Yes.
Peyton, not Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Bledsoe,
Mm-hmm.
fucking Steve Young had Montana.
Like this
Like,
shit. So
but it's
here,
just like, but we got Pat Mahomes came under Alex Smith. We got Will. What do we got? Will Levis learning under Tannehill and then taking his spot 3 games later. Like,
exactly.
so just and now Tannehill and now Malik Willis was drafted before Willis. I mean, Levis, and now he's under him. Like, it's just like
Yes.
who did Josh Allen come in under? Nobody. What about Joe
Nobody.
Burrow? Nobody.
Nobody
They
just came
Lamar
straight in.
Jackson came.
Herbert.
Lamar
Nobody.
Jackson came under Flacco. He didn't even want to teach him.
Exactly.
So it's just like all these dudes literally have to take over franchises where
Off nothing.
all right,
You can keep
hopefully yo
going. Every young guy, who did Trevor Lawrence take over behind? Nobody.
nobody.
Who every single one of these young guys is the
We putting too
same
much
thing.
pressure on dudes coming out in college Like there wasn't much
Exactly.
pressure from 13 to 18 on rookie quarterbacks like it is now.
None. Because you had Brady, because you had Breeze, because you had Rivers, because you had Roethlisberger, because you had even Stafford. That's his 10th year in the
What
league
do
in
you
2018. You had fucking Eli Manning, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers. Like you had
Philip
guys.
Rivers?
Philip Rivers, Matt Ryan in 2015 was in the league. That's his 7th year in the league.
Andy Dalton was back then.
Andy Dalton in 2018. That's his 7th, 8th year in the league. Yes, that's my point is that we are in an epidemic. Look at these names on here. Look at the like it's crazy. Alex Smith, as much as I rag on Alex Smith, I'm not gonna pretend like he wasn't a solid to good starter for 10, 12, 13 years. Of course he was.
He
And
was a number one pick though. So who did he come in
exactly
under?
nobody. But that's different because he went to the NFC championship his second or third year, whatever, and it was because he had a great defense and all this other stuff. But the point is, we are clearly in an epidemic of quarterbacks, and it's sad. And I, if we go through some of this, so if you look at this shit, this is where it starts getting weird at. So I put the bar for these next three lists I'm gonna look at real fast. If you can, do I need to zoom in a little bit?
Yeah, this is a little.
Okay. So
Yeah, that's good.
the bar at the top, oh, you probably can't read that. So this is from 1991 to 2000 quarterbacks that at least averaged 190 yards per game, which puts you just over 3,000 yards a game back then and puts you just at 3,200 ish for 17 games. Look at the names on this fucking list, bro. Right? It's the best of the best, right? Brett
Right.
Favre, Troy Aikman,
Troy
and this is
Aikman,
this is this is from top to bottom from the number
Steve
of
Young,
wins.
John Elway,
Dan
Marino,
Marino, Drew Bledsoe,
Bledsoe,
Jim Kelly, Warren Moon,
Kelly.
even Testaverde, right? So you got
Oh,
it gets a little sketchy, yeah. So I brought some of these up because I wanted to also point some of this shit out. So obviously, if we put the cutoff of good at let's say Warren Moon.
Kelly, Warren Moon. Yeah.
Let's just say Warren Moon. I was gonna say Jim Kelly, but let's throw more Warren Moon in there also, right? We talking about guys that even then at 200, Troy Aikman, he had such a good team. He had Emmett Smith and all that. They all averaged 200 plus, right? They all averaged
Mm-hmm.
220, 220 ish, 230, 240, which puts them either closing in on 4,000 a year. Even back then, they was closing in on 4,000 a year. Just keep that in mind also while we keep going down some of these lists. So now we get to this is 2001 to 2010. Basically, our childhood essentially.
Right.
So some of these names might look even more familiar to you. And we can start at the top. Peyton
Manning,
Manning,
Brady.
Tom Brady, Favre, McNabb, Breeze, Hasselbeck, Roethlisberger, Eli Manning, Jake Delhomme, Philip Rivers, Jake Plummer, Jeff Garcia, Steve McNair, Trent Green, Carson Palmer, Kurt Warner, Chad Pennington, Mark Bolger. uh yeah, Drew Bledsoe is still on here,
Dante
still on this
Culpepper on
list.
there.
Culpepper, Jason
Look,
Campbell made the list. Like Jay Cutler there is there.
that
Aaron
Matt Cat.
Brooks.
But I thought that was Matt Cat. So I was about to say what?
Now, if I put this list at yards per game, everybody over 223. So Roethlisberger and up here, you're closing in on 4,000 yards a year.
Shit, even at who's that? Shit, you can even go. Who was that? Brooks.
Aaron Brooks, yeah.
You can probably even go there. 220.
220, yeah. Because what, 220, let's see. I think that's like 3,600, something like that. 220 times 16 is
Lamar Jackson won a.
3,520.
Yeah, he won a MVP with that.
Now, hey, that's why I say keep these this
Like, what do you mean?
3,500 and up thing in mind. All right. So then we get to what I look at is this is basically this is the golden era, right?
Right.
So even if we go back and we look at this, we talking about the cutoff here is what you want to make go down to Eli.
Right.
But if you call
because
Aaron Brooks,
Elon.
let's say Aaron Brooks, like you said, 220, right? That's
Uh,
that's 15. That's 15
mm-hmm.
guys in this 8-9 year span that were
What
throwing
got
close to 4,000. And
3,500 to 4,000?
let's see, quarterback rating. Yeah, 1585. That's the cutoff I did on the other list I was doing, but it kind of made it weird. But like 85, like quarterback rating is basically just regular. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you did pretty
Where you
good.
see rating at?
Oh, is it not on the screen? Oh, okay, that's why. Hold on. My bad. But yeah, quarterback rating here, it's basically the same guys if you in
Yeah, I
order,
mean,
like
so basically everybody was average all the way up to Steve McNair.
pretty much, yeah.
So everybody was serviceable.
Service will be at 85 and down is like you can be a starter. 85 and up is like you're good, right?
Right.
And now even if I go back and we look at some of these, the ratings just go up and up every era. Because if you look here, it's like, okay, if we do that, Warren Moon is where we cut the line off at. His is 80, so that's even lower.
Right.
So the bar is lower, but that goes to they threw the ball way more. But let's just keep going. So now this to me, that's the golden era, and we have 15 guys who are closing in on 4,000 yards a year with 85 plus passer rating. Okay, now we get to. Oh no, that's not the golden. This is the golden era one. Excuse me, we didn't even go to it yet. So now if we list this off, look, we can't even get we at this is 27. Alex Smith is the cutoff then. If we use the same
At two
cutoff
twenty.
at 220, we talk 26 guys in this era. And if you look, what is it? What is it? It's all guys that started for a long time. All these guys have 50. We talking about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years of experience
Yeah.
straight. And they all have
And this is
this is
the still
2011 to 2018.
yeah.
And so, okay, let's go look at the rating. We just compared all this stuff. Let's look at the ratings and see what it looks like. Okay,
Yeah.
where does 85 start at?
It should be
So we making
Case
Fitzpat.
Keenum
Yes. So 25 guys. But you see what I'm saying now? Where it's like, oh
and
shit,
Ryan Fitzpatrick even was
was
serviceable.
pretty good. So,
Yeah.
but
And look,
85 and
Joe
down.
Flacco won a Super Bowl.
But like we
Blake
were
Bortles
saying,
went to the AFC Championship.
exactly, exactly.
And he only played what? He started only about
4 or 5 years. I think that's
yeah.
73 games. So he started for almost 6 years. But I
Mm.
brought this point up because I was saying, I want you to think about this. In Blake Bortles, what, sixth year then? No, fifth year because 14 to 18. So he played for 5 years. So in his fifth year, they said, you are not good. We are going to cut you. And he never
Well,
played football again.
and that because they actually signed him a fat contract after that AFC Championship,
Yes, they were
and
stuck with it.
and then they were stuck with it for a couple more
Now
years.
think about that, right? 5 years. They cut him and he never played again, right?
Mm. All right, he backed up a few times, but other than that, nah.
What year did Daniel Jones get drafted?
What year is it?
It's
2020.
2023 going into
So
2024.
2020, I think.
2019 is
It's
when he got drafted. This would be his
uh,
fifth year. And he just got a contract. He just got his contract last year.
and
So
he just robbed them too.
is Blake Bortles, is Daniel Jones better than Blake Bortles? Like that's where when you look at this, bro, look, okay, so let's go back to how
Is Daniel Jones better than Blake Bortles? That'd be a good question.
let's go back to the
Ask you
4,000
can ask
yards, right?
TikTok that.
Right. Let's go back to the 4,000 yards thing because I feel like that's the real sticking point here. 190 yards per game is just over 3,000. So when you get to 225, you're closing in on 4,000. There's 25 guys basically who for 10 years averaged closing in on 4,000 yards every season, even if they didn't start. This is just how good they were. And look at the names. Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, Matt
Mm-hmm.
Ryan, Matthew Stafford, Carson Palmer, Andrew Luck, Phillip Rivers, Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, Eli Manning, Tony Romo, Jameis Winston, Joe Flacco, Derek Carr, Sam Bradford, Blake Bortles, Andy Dalton, Ryan Tannehill, Cam Newton, Russell Wilson, Jay Cutler, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Alex Smith. I'll skip over Case Keenum to give Alex Smith a little respect. But that's most of the league was throwing for 4,000 yards. But you know how crazy that is? How many people do you think threw for 4,000 yards last year?
Would probably say 7.
It's
4,000? No.
4,000.
Oh, I know Burrow did, Mahomes did, Allen did, uh, Kirk Cousins did, um, Stafford and Golf.
So let's do this too. So 220, right? Damn it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dumb. I keep
Oh,
looking.
and Prescott, yeah, Prescott.
So we
So
said
seven.
so we said 225 times 16 was 3,600 yards. I'm putting you
Mm-hmm.
in the group. That's the if you was closing in on 4,000 yards. Let's do 3,600 divided by 17 because that's what it is now. Now you only need to average 211 yards to get to 4,000
Well,
for the
everybody
past
in the
2 years.
golden era did it.
Now let's look at this list. 20 people. And if we go back and do the same thing, so this is the last 4 years from
This all the
2019.
way down to Baker.
That's it. So from 2019 to now, this is the people. This is these niggas' averages, and we
And Tom
have
Brady don't count because he's been in all eras.
we have 7 less quarterbacks, and then if you take out, and you got to think some of these guys are in the other list. These are the veterans. So you talking about Matt Ryan, Matthew Stafford,
Tom
Tom
Brady,
Brady, Kirk
Aaron
Cousins, Aaron
Rodgers,
Rodgers, Russell Wilson. Let me count that again. So Tom Brady, Matthew Stafford, Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson is 5. So we take those 5 out. Now we talking about 10 other people besides people that were literally played most of their career in the era before this one. So we talking about 10 guys. We're talking about Pat, Herbert, Dak, Burrow, Goff, Derek Carr, Kyler Murray,
Josh
Baker,
Allen.
Josh Allen. Yeah. Hold on. Josh Allen's not on this?
Yeah, he right there. You skipped. That's what I said.
Oh, yeah.
You
Okay. I
skipped him.
skipped over him. Yep. So that's like when I looked at some of this shit, I was like, wait, so you mean to tell me now, granted, all those people from Kyler Murray up are like, yeah, they're like well above averaging 4,000 for this era, right?
Right.
Because 240, you close you on 17, yeah, is 4,000.
Yeah.
Wait, yeah, okay, I'm not tripping, yeah,
Pat
because
almost averaged 300.
yes, which is almost
That's
5,000.
ridiculous.
Yeah, it's almost 5. I think 280 something like that is when you closing in on 5,000 every year. Now that's what took. So that was my point was the top of the top is
It's top heavy.
excelling. Yeah, is excelling at a far higher rate than any of the quarterbacks ever have. But then you start going down and you realize, okay, 10 years in 2013 through 17, that list of guys was 25 almost 20 guys long of well no it's 25 guys long of serviceable starting quarterbacks that were good, like were solid to good.
Yeah.
Now we have a list of, because if you take the old guys out, because Matt Ryan's gone, Tom Brady is gone, Matthew Stafford has a couple years left, right? Aaron Rodgers is almost done, like he has a year or two left.
Yeah.
When you look at Ryan Tannehill's on here, Carson Wentz is on this list, Jimmy Garoppolo's on this list. When we really start breaking it down, there's 9 guys. We talking about 10 guys that are solid to great. From from Baker to Mahomes is really only 10, 11 guys. versus
Baker ain't
20.
even. Would
Exactly.
you even call Baker solid? You just
He's like the very he's like holding on by his pinky for to be solid. He would love to be
he's
considered solid.
called a filler quarterback, as in like we didn't get in one in the draft. We can't
Yeah.
get nobody in free agency. Let's call Baker. Like,
Yes. Now, here's the last one that I'll give, and we can go to picks and get out of here because I think it's been about an hour and a half or so. Well, probably
mm-hmm.
over that now. But so, and I don't have the list, so let me switch back to the camera so I can. Did I switch? I can't even see.
Yep, you did.
Okay, bet. So let me go through this. This is a every 5 year thing. 2023, that same shit we was just talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
85. So floating around 85, floating around 220. For Desmond Ritter right now is at an 84 passer rating and 212 yards. That puts him 20th. So just keep those numbers in mind. At 20th, 22nd in passer rating for 84, which we were saying that you're in that serviceable.
Right.
You're just below being solid. You're not quite a solid starter. That's 22nd. 212 passing yards a game, that's 20th. Alex Smith in 2018, the year he broke his leg when he was doing really good with Washington it was 10 games. He was at
Mm-hmm.
85 passer rating, 85.7. That was 27th in the league at the time. And
Yeah.
218 yards per game put him at also 27th in the league in 2018. So Alex Smith being just serviceable old Alex Smith made him a bottom 5 quarterback in the league. In 2013, Mike Glennon had an 84 passer rating. He started all 16 games for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, Mike Glennon, Lord.
An 84 passer rating put him at 21st, so roughly the same. A 200 passing yards per game put him at 30th. Now here's when the other shit starts to get sketchy. But I say that to say right now that's Daniel Jones, right?
Yeah.
And people are talking about Daniel Jones. Last year we was asking if he was a franchise quarterback.
They paid him like one.
People were saying he was in the top half of the league. We was talking about Daniel Jones like he was
Greg
in the
Jennings.
top half of the top 10. That was this year.
Greg
Greg Jennings was
Jennings.
calling Daniel Jones a top 10 quarterback coming into the year. Like, come on. And he
He
but
just
he but he got the same numbers as Mike Glennon in 2013. But let's keep going. 2008, Eli Manning had an 86 passer rating. That put him at 14th at the time with a
that man
two
had a number one defense that
yeah,
year.
with 202 yards per game at 20th. And you want another kicker to this? He made the damn Pro Bowl.
Eli Manning.
Eli Manning with that made the Pro Bowl with the 14th passer rating mid and 200 yards a game below mid. So 2003, 5 years before that, McNabb had a 79 passer rating. That put him at 16th, and he averaged 200 yards a game. That put him at 18th, and he made the damn Pro Bowl. And I say all this because I think we're back in this version of stuff. The fucking early 90s to the mid 2000s of just, hey, there's fucking 7 guys. That's
Everybody
it.
else is just.
Everybody else fucking trash.
I mean, yeah, because it's just like when you think. I mean, it got to be three, and then if people get hurt or don't want to go, then other people get the nod because it's just like
Like,
shit.
think about this shit, bro. So I said I use these to point out the fact that if Alex Smith, would you rather have Alex Smith in that Washington year or Desmond Ritter?
Alex Smith in the Washington year.
Alex Smith in Washington year was a bottom 5 fucking quarterback. Right now, Desmond Ritter numbers through 8 weeks is in just above the
I
middle
don't
or just
care.
under the middle.
Well, eye test wise, Alex Smith
Of
that
course.
Washington years.
I'm with you. That's my point. Like that's where it gets weird. Like all this gets weird. Like where you're just like, I don't know. I just had too many numbers and everything, but all I know is that 2013 to 2018, that 5 year stretch, I think that's the best stretch of quarterbacks that
No, that
we've
definitely was
ever
like
seen. We had I don't think, but we didn't understand that shit, bro. Like I graduated in 12 and I didn't understand that what we was watching was the gonna like you don't think about it that way coming up, but it really
like
was.
we
The league
like
was
we
20
like
deep.
we didn't see like we're not gonna see the Jets and other teams go through three franchise quarterbacks before they
Yes.
decide. Like we might actually have four Super Bowls before another team realize they got to draft another fucking quarterback.
If you
Like
think about it back then in that era, like in any given year, there were maybe 4 or 5 teams that was really like, we have to get a new quarterback right now. How many teams do you think that is now? It's a lot, right?
yeah, I mean, I feel like next year a team might pull the plug on Trey Lance and just try him out next year just for the shits and giggles. Like they might take the contract and now we're gonna be talking about like so I mean
Let's play a game again. Let's
how
play. This is a different. This ain't the contract game like we did last time. This one to pair along with that little quarterback errors thing that I just went through is going to be a within the next 2 to 3 years. Damn, where is this shit
are
at?
they gonna be starting?
No, does their team look for a new quarterback? And I'll just name the quarterback instead of doing the teams. I'll just name the quarterback, and we'll both say yes or no whether or not
You
in
said two
within
to
the
three
next.
years.
Yeah, within the next is this guy a long term solution or does their team
Yeah.
move on from them soon?
Mm-hmm.
So let's start. Lamar Jackson. I
Oh,
say
he's staying.
he's staying. Well, how are we going to do this? Yes, they moving on, or no, they not moving on.
Right.
So no, they not moving on from Lamar
No,
Jackson.
no, 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 no.
Okay, yeah,
They just signed this man to like a set 5, 6 year deal too. Like,
man. So okay, let's go down the list. Josh Allen. I say no.
no,
Joe Burrow. Hell no.
no,
Deshaun Watson.
yes.
Probably, yeah. Well, his contract, I don't know if they can, but yes, they probably are.
Well, it's all guaranteed regardless.
Yeah,
So
I guess yes. So
if he
yes.
stay, they lose the money. If he, they might as well just wipe that up. He out
So
of there.
yes. Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
CJ Stroud, no.
No.
Anthony Richardson, no, that doesn't count.
No.
Trevor Lawrence, no.
No.
Patrick Mahomes, hell no.
Come on now.
Aiden O'Connell,
I
yeah.
don't. Yeah. I mean,
I say
yeah, because
yeah.
I don't. I just don't think he's going to be good. Like
He
it's
not he
just
no, I don't no, he's not finna just keep them from looking for a new quarterback.
right. Yeah.
Herbert,
They.
that's the tough one. I
I'm gonna
say
say
no,
no.
they not moving on
They
from
gonna
him the
sign
next
him.
couple of years. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they gonna sign.
He
I
just
don't
signed his
know. They.
contract for like 5 years. He's not going
Yeah,
nowhere.
yeah, sure.
Tua,
No, I don't think they do.
I'm
No, he gonna get a contract after this year.
yeah, because he especially ain't got hurt yet. Let me not gonna win. So
Yeah.
no. Mac Jones, yes.
Oh yeah. They should have been
Yeah.
going on him a minute ago.
Zach Wilson, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they
They
already kind
already
of moved on
did.
from
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
So yeah,
just
okay.
like they did already.
Kenny Pickett,
Yeah, I think yeah. I think if they're because he's still on his French. I mean his rookie
yeah,
deal.
his rookie. So yeah, I'll say yes
So
because
if
he'll
they
he'll
find
get
it,
another he'll get a couple more years. You're right. He'll
yeah,
just get a
but
couple
they
more
gonna
years off
it's
the
gonna be
strength.
another quarterback that comes out and they're gonna be like, he's definitely better than Kenny Pickett. We're not gonna get this man $50 million.
The only
Like,
reason I would say no is because he's literally from Pittsburgh, went to Pittsburgh University. So that's the only thing that's keeping it like
what?
maybe
Okay,
they
well,
just do him a
hopefully,
solid.
well, maybe he ain't never been a backup in Pittsburgh. Let's try that
Yeah,
one.
okay.
Like,
So okay. So Will Levis.
I don't know. We gotta
That's a
wait and
yeah,
see
that's a
that one
yeah,
out.
okay. So we'll just I'm not
We
counting
gotta
that.
wait and see that. I mean, but Malik Willis, yeah, like,
Yeah. Heineke Ritter combo is a yes. Like y'all gotta
yes,
move on.
that
This one's tough.
those glorified backups.
Kyler
Dobbs,
Murray.
yeah, they moving from him.
I'll side with you. Bryce Young, you can't. You literally just don't get to right now. You just drafted him. You don't get to do that.
But shit, tell Arizona that who drafted Rosen, then went and got Murray the next year.
If he bad, if he just stays this bad, that's a good point.
But the thing is, they didn't give that man no line. He
Actually, you know
boy,
what? I'm
he
going
five
yes.
eight.
I'm throwing him in there. I'm saying yes. He's gonna be out of here. Yeah, 5'8", 190. You can't run. You'll probably in 3 years you'll be out of here. By the end of the rookie contract, you're probably done. Okay,
Somebody has signed him though, so it'll be all right.
so Fields Bagent, I say yeah, you're gone.
Who?
Justin Fields and Tyson Bagent,
Oh
either
yeah, both of them is gonna be out
they both gone.
because
Yeah.
he ain't signed yet. Last time Fields ain't signed, right? Oh
Mm-mm.
yeah, he out of there. Somebody gonna sign him though.
So okay, Dak Prescott. I say yes.
Mm.
Yes, they'll move on from him the next 2 to 3 years because his contract is up in next year.
Yes, I think they let him test the waters.
Okay, so Jared Goff,
They got Trey Lance too, so
that's good.
no,
Okay, I'll give you that. Jordan Love,
yes.
I'm with you. Yeah, I feel bad, but yeah. Matt Stafford, Brian Rippon.
Only because Matt Stafford's gonna be retired. They're not
So
gonna
yeah,
move from him. He's gonna retire from them. Like it's time for him to probably just
so we're gonna say yeah for that.
sweep.
Josh Dobbs slash Kirk Cousins. I think, but either way, yeah, I'm moving on from
Yeah,
both of them. Derek Carr, he's not gonna be there 3 years from
he's
now.
gonna be retired.
He's gone. So
he's,
yes,
he's
they're
gonna be
moving on from
retired.
him. Daniel Jones slash Tommy
Yes,
DeVito.
I still ain't. Yes,
Yeah, I'm with you. Daniel Jones, yeah. Stop. We gotta stop doing that. Jalen Hurts, no, they're not moving on from Jalen Hurts. Oh, there's a pause.
oh, what'd you say?
I was about to say you paused on. I said Jalen Hurts, and you just paused like you had to think
Uh,
about it. I was
uh,
like, hold on, what is happening? That Wimby going
no,
crazy. Yeah.
no, it's over. Giannis is going. I don't know if they kicked this man out the. Oh yeah, he got ejected.
Damn.
Yeah, that's why I was like, what he going crazy for? But yeah,
Jesus.
they kicked him out the game.
So Jalen
But
Hurts, yes or no?
no,
Okay. Brock Purdy. I'm gonna say yes. Wow, you're
I
gonna
was gonna say
three
yeah
years
too.
from now, you don't find any prospect that you think is better than Brock Purdy. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying yeah on that one.
Gino, yeah.
Yeah, I just because Gino is just he seems like one of those quarterbacks that he just needs to go lift another team up
Bro.
and have just like go boost a more over there for 2 years.
Yeah.
Like
Baker Mayfield. That's a
if
yeah.
he in the league in 3 years, I'd be surprised.
That's a good yeah,
Like
right. Sam Howell. He's the sketchy one for
yeah,
me.
he's
I
very
would
because he's
I would
second
bet
in the league in passing yards.
I would bet on if I had to bet money, I would say yes, he's
Well,
gone. They'll
yeah.
move on from him, but I don't wouldn't feel good about it. I wouldn't feel good
Well,
about my money in my pocket.
I mean, I think I will. I think I will lean more 70% yes.
Yeah.
So I think I'll feel good about my money, especially if they change coaches because the coach that come
And
in
they done changed
definitely
the
has it.
owners, they changed the coach.
Yeah.
That's a good point. So we'll say yes. We'll
So,
put him in the yes because we both lean more towards he's probably not going to be there. I just want to point out that that's 20 teams that we said yes, they'll move on from their quarterback in the next 2 to 3 years for. That's what I kind of mean. It's just like, bro, like if we go back and look through some of those,
but if we say that about other years, we could have been like, yeah, because just how they was just like, it's other players out there that's better. Like,
but in
but
but it's like in 2010, which when this little how far does this go down? Peyton Manning, Phillip Rivers, Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, Drew Brees, Chad Pennington, Donovan McNabb, Carson Palmer, Brett Favre, Jay Cutler, Jason Campbell, Matt Hasselbeck, Jake Delhomme, Eli Manning, Kyle Orton, John Kitna. So about right there.
John Kitna, Lord, for the
So I
Lions.
guess I guess it's not too much of a stretch. It's just like 14 guys, but still. Oh, that's the wrong one. I'm tripping. I went back to the wrong era. Oh yeah, see, but okay, so 2018. You moving on from Drew Brees? No. You moving on from Tom Brady? No. Ben Roethlisberger? They didn't move on from him for 4 more years.
Yeah, but he wasn't the same though.
That's
They
true,
should at
but they
least brought
kept him.
somebody in.
They should have, but that's them doing that is got us in the predicament where we in now, where there's fucking and some of we said 20, but there's a couple guys where we was like, half of y'all is just because it's y'all first year. It's 3 or 4 of y'all that they just rookies and we don't know yet. So it's less than the 12 that
Yeah,
we
but
actually
in
have.
28, Patrick Mahomes' first year in the league, 2018, that was probably Ben Roethlisberger's last good year, decent year. Like what year?
Yeah.
What was his stats that year? So I was just like, because that next couple
Either
two
way, but
years,
hold
two
on.
years from that year, we whooped their ass in the playoffs.
Even though, even with that, the list we just did, we said there's 20 guys we would move on from in the next
Right.
2 to 3 years. If we take out Will Levis, Anthony Richardson, there was another
CJ
one,
Stroud,
CJ
Bryce Young,
Stroud.
CJ Stroud.
I think we said yeah they'll move on. I said yeah they'll move on from Bryce Young. But if we take it, just take them four out. Nigga, that puts us at 8 people that we don't think are getting moved on from in the next 2 to 3 years. That's pretty
Right.
bad. If I just say Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Matt Ryan, Stafford, Luck, Rivers, Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, at the time Derek Carr, Andy Dalton, Ryan Tannehill, Cam
But the
Newton,
thing about
Russell
it is,
Wilson, Alex Smith, we
but
already
with that Philip Rivers, we could have said no, but the next
you
3 years
could
they
yeah
did move on from him now
that's
because that's when
true.
Herbert came in.
That's true. You're right. A year from then, well, 2 years from then.
Two
So
years from there,
kind
yeah,
of, yeah.
Herbert came in. So
But yeah,
I
so I
mean,
guess
we would have said it back then, but some of them did actually move in there. Some of those players we named did actually decline because who else did you name? Breeze.
yeah. Breeze still
That
played for, I guess.
yeah,
Breeze, they didn't move on from Breeze. He
but he
left.
retired. It's kind of like the
Yeah.
Stafford effect that he retired.
But still,
So,
we talking about 8 guys versus maybe 14, half the league, damn near. That's a big difference between one, a fourth of the league versus
and
half of
then
the league has a starting quarterback.
and then in 18, yeah, they did. The Patriots moved on from
Ooh,
the Tom
yeah,
Brady that year.
but they shouldn't have.
Yeah, but they
That
did.
was dumb. You're right. You're right. Either way, I still think I personally think that we are in a bit of a weird era where it's extremely top heavy and
No, it is. It's a top heavy league. That's
the
why they
rest of
talk
the league
about
is
the
just
same
meh.
six quarterbacks.
Yeah,
And that's why
exactly.
it's so what Josh Dobbs did the other day is so just like, my God, because it's just like so top heavy. So when you see another quarterback actually play like a
Dude,
quarterback,
solid. Yeah.
it's just like,
It's
oh,
just so
okay.
crazy to think like weird. It's just sad because the point of this is when you watch football on Sundays, you really only got about 6 guys to watch every weekend that are actually like good quarterbacks. And it's way different than it was 6, 7, 8 years ago. And it's just kind of sad to me that the fact that the model of get a rookie quarterback contract on your team and build around them, build the team around that has got us to a point where like there's not a lot of solid veteran talent at quarterback
Yeah,
anymore.
no.
We're just watching subpar, substandard guys go out there and try to compete, and we just have what we thought was parity, but as the season goes along, everything's kind of just evening out to like what I thought in the preseason. Like, it might just be Chiefs, Eagles, and the Super Bowl repeat again, just because everything just looked the same, and it's just kind of
Yeah.
just getting weird, man.